So in this first devlog video, I'll be showing you the world of Lumbermill, how the game procedurally generates a forest, and looking at a few of the things you'll be doing in the game. So the game is a business sim, where the player runs a lumber mill, so that includes building all of the saws, workshops, and conveyor belts that make up a little factory, similar in a way to Factorio, but with elements of SimCity and Theme Hospital, which are amazing games by the way if you've not already tried them. So the first thing I had to make was the forest generator. It starts with a flat terrain, which originally had snow, but for simplicity it's just grass right now. That's as basic as it gets really, until the next stage, where the trees are generated. The game steps through each position in the world and with a random number, picks a tree to go there. This is made slightly less random by the game knowing roughly the percentage of each tree type that makes up the forest. So right now there's 60% pine, 10% maple and 30% empty space. Here are a few examples. There'll be more tree types, including some kinda weird ones in the future, but we're staying simple for now. The game then refines the map to make patterns, by just counting the neighbours of each tree and changing it if it crosses a certain count. If you're into computer science and programming, this is called a cellular automaton. I might make a more detailed video on that later on, so let me know in the comments if you're interested. Anyway, when you click on a tree, you can actually see how old it is, and that decides how many logs the tree has and how valuable the wood is, where the older the more valuable in general. I'll get to see how money works later on. So next in the forest generator is rivers. This took far longer than it should have done, but it generates pretty natural results and I'm generally happy with it. The red that you can see is generated in the same way that the forest is, and is just a load of obstacles for the river to avoid. Two edges are then chosen to travel between, and the river finds a route around the obstacles between those points, which makes the river wind and look quite natural. Obviously the obstacles are normally hidden, but this illustrates it quite well. These are just a few examples of the world with the settings I've got at the moment. So the next thing we've got to be able to do is actually build some basic stuff. I always roughly mock up interfaces on paper before actually implementing them, and that just makes things a million times simpler when I actually program them. So to build, you can click this button at the bottom of the screen and you'll see all of the buildings you've currently got unlocked. Every game needs a lumber mill to start off with, so we'll just choose that and click to place it in the world. As you build things, your money will go down, as you'd expect. Anyway, next we need a house for our employees, so just click it and put it in the world. I'll be making it a bit clearer later on where you can actually build and where you can't with some kind of indicator, but we're staying simple for now. So once I'd implemented the basic lumber mill building and a little tent, it was time to be able to hire employees. So to do that you need to open up your lumber mill and open up the hire interface. The game randomly generates 5 new employees every month, and each will come with its own set of statistics, which will affect their pay, ability, and mood. At the moment I've only implemented lumberjacks and lumberjills, of course, as we need to actually chop down the trees and get things started. So once you've hired your employees, they'll move into the nearest house with space available and start working. If they don't have a house, they'll get upset, which I'll be implementing later in development. Excuse the horrific purple squares, I just needed to put some kind of graphic on so I could see them moving around. Lumberjacks just look for the nearest tree they can find and chop it down. Interestingly, they use exactly the same pathfinding as the rivers, which was helpful. Once they've filled up their inventory, they then drop it off in storage, which will be the starting point at the factory, which I'm currently working on. It's quite funny to think that this is actually my 4th attempt at this game. I think this devlog is going to be helpful in finally getting this version finished. They've all failed largely down to just a lack of experience in the past, as simulation games are really quite hard to make, as I've learned. But I think now I've learned enough to at least have a good shot at this. If you like this video and want to see more, remember to smash subscribe and I'll look forward to the next one.